So what up, guys? What's going on? I'm reviewing some footage that's actually from last week. So I come across a section that I really feel like, as a public service, I need to offer it up out there for skate park etiquette. So I'm probably going to talk about this for a few minutes. I'm going to show the clip and then maybe add something in the end. But you all know the deal. We get out there, we're skating at the bowl, and then all of a sudden you got a couple of scooter kids and you got a couple of kids on bikes, and you know, these kids can't get in and out of the bowl on their own. And you know the deal, man. Immediately you cringe. So I'm going to basically put a blur over all this footage with these kids, but I'm going to let the footage run. You won't be able to tell who's who. If you know them, you won't recognize them, most likely. And but the audio is the important part. I want to let that run. And I kind of want you to see what I'm seeing at the time. So anyway, in this footage, this is really a video I feel the need to put out there for the parents of kids that go to the skate park and they don't understand. You know, they all get real bossy and real confident. Like, my kid has as much right to use this skate park as you do, or your kid does. And they don't understand. They don't understand how dangerous our sport is. Now, these kids I dealt with were little kids. So anyway, let the footage run, and then I'm going to chime in a little bit. Hi. You guys can go in here, but we're taking turns, okay?
Okay.
So that means one at a time, and then everybody gets a turn. And you can't be in there for too long either.
Okay. We just want to watch you guys.
Oh, that's okay. Killian's up. Come on, Killy.
Really?
His name's Killian. Come on, dude, do a run. I just went. Doesn't your old dad get time to breathe? All right, Killian.
Actually, never mind.
Killian. All right, well, then we're not going to go over there. Just do it.
Maxwell, be careful you don't fall in there. Don't go in there, Maxwell.
You know what I'm thinking right now? Read my mind. Read my mind about what I'm thinking right now. You gonna go? No? You girls all want to go in there? Why don't you all go in and
Because we don't like.
take your turn? Can you guys ride this other bowl by chance?
What?
Can you guys ride this other one here?
No, our parents won't probably allow us. It's way too.
All right, well then jump in and go, because you guys can only have a couple minutes and then we're gonna go again. Check this out, dudes. Parents nowhere to be found. Gotta do a video on skate park etiquette. Killian, you're upsetting me, dude.
Don't drop in from any of this stuff, okay? Too sweet for you. Okay, Maxie, but just don't ride off from that top of that, because, okay.
I guess I'll just, I don't know how. Go, Scooter.
Let's see what the parent does here. You guys curious as to how long this takes? I am.
Hey, if you guys can actually like ride into this, why don't y'all move over here, because they actually want to be able to drop in. Y'all aren't allowing them to do that. Yes, you can actually, this isn't your level of play. That's your level over there.
No.
Yeah, because he wants to ride in, and he can't ride in when you're sitting right in the middle.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Ow.
y'all go that way.
That's why I offered them all go in there at once. It's like, hey, you know, I'll sit out 8 minutes. Go ahead.
No, I appreciate it.
Us old guys, when we start to cool down, we get like dangerous again on ourselves, so it gets nerve-wracking.
Here, pass me.
Are you guys like a homeschool group?
We are.
Yeah. My boy's homeschooled too. Yeah.
Awesome. Come here, babe.
Go.
Okay. Come on, let's go over here where you can actually play. Because this is too big. You can climb up.
I got no problem with it, guys. You know, you got to be courteous of other people. That's all. Thank you for coming up. We all skaters, so appreciate that. Thank you. These are little babies. And you know what? Look at me. They're going to be impressed on anything. Look at me. They're going to be impressed on anything you can do. But when I'm here by myself, let's show kids that are watching that we're riding this bull so that we can keep 8 of them from jumping in there at one time. Do you understand? If I ask you to take a run, take a run. All right, so now that we've seen that, that's a sketchy scenario, right? That's almost your worst nightmare. And I know Hamish Patterson, I know you've been skating a lot more now that you moved out of Malibu and you got a skateboard park near you. You're dealing with this with the kids. So this was an idea I had about just putting up more content. Start flooding the internet a little bit with content that lets these parents know how the real skaters are out there trying to use the skate park feel about it. Because honestly, it's not only about us getting to do what we came there to do, right? We bought all the equipment, and it's more about their children and their children being safe, because we all got to share this place. So there needs to be some sort of rules. Now, obviously, I'm outspoken enough to tell these kids, hey, take a minute, do a run. But it takes kids so long to get in and out of the bowl that halfway through this section, I realized, dude, I'm a lot better off if I try to get all 8, 5, however many of these little kids there were. I think the youngest was probably around 3, right? There's no parents there, and this kid's about to launch into the bowl at a couple points. You know, and launch can just be fall in. That's how it happens, right? These parents don't understand that there's an 8-foot drop in. Some of them arrive at the skate park, they park down below, and they don't even have any idea what's on that upper ledge. And they don't realize that that red bowl has a 9-foot drop in, and that big bowl has an 8-foot drop in. You know, there's a whole other bowl that I could help all these kids get lowered into And they could all cruise around in there and have their little fun in that bowl and not affect me and my workout and what I'm trying to do. You know, that's just a polite thing to do. And she said that, let's face it, she came up, she was cool enough to check it out. I mean, who wouldn't? You've got all these little tiny kids in a homeschool group coming up there where there's this adult man and his own child. I mean, you got to come see what they're doing. So thank God she got up and came up there and then was smart enough to realize that she was affecting my day in a major way when these kids did not need the bowl. Early that morning, when I first got there, I noticed all these kids there, right? And I bump into this other OG, and he's like, dude, I figured this park would be dead. And I was like, hey, I skate here most of the time. On this day, there's usually nobody here. And this is the first time we've got all these kids. This must be like a homeschool group or something like that. He was from Lockhart. He was 58 years old. He was a ripper, right? He drove all the way in from Lockhart to skate that park. And he was having his session just destroyed by this group of little kids, right? And the problem is these parents don't know to say, hey, you guys, why don't we go over here? There's a feature there that this guy wants to be working on. So parents, if you don't skate or you don't ride anything at the park, think about what the other guys at the park are trying to do. There might be a ledge, there might be a rail. And, you know, if you're paying attention to your children instead of the yappity yap that happens on the sideline, you'll know these guys are clearly trying to work on this section. Now, it becomes real obvious to somebody when you're in a bowl and you got all your kids in the bowl and they're like flailing about like some floundering little fish, because that's what they do. They don't need to be in a bowl at that age. But this guy's session was ruined, and he told me, you know, he was sponsored by Sims. He was like the real deal OG out there, and I was bummed for him, you know. Luckily, me having kids and being an outspoken person, I have no problem kind of playing coach for recess and trying to get all these kids. So like I said, hey, you can go one by one, but no. Let's all get in there together. I can let you guys go for 8 to 10 minutes. I can take a nice, big, long water break, and then we're going to rodeo all of you kids up out of there so me and my boy can have another 15 minutes or so to skate, and then we can do it again, right? So it ruins a session, and it totally sucks. But what else can you do? That park is there for everybody. And I will say that this parent came up. She watched for a couple minutes. She realized the camera, the tripod, the father-son session going on, and she cued into the fact that she was really affecting the outcome of our day drastically. And she was courteous enough to round the kids up and get them out of that bowl. But as she started walking down below, one of the other parents, what's going on? And she says, oh, there's some people up here trying to use the bowl. And so I could hear this. I'm wearing the microphone. You can't pick it up in the audio on the clip. And then the other woman's like, well, our kids have just as much right to any feature out here as they do. And it's like, wow, completely, like, that's the scene that you who don't speak up are trying to avoid. I'll get into it anyway. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I'm going out there to get my workout in. I'm going out there to get my session in. And you know what? I cut them short sometimes for a situation that's not perfect. But you know what? I'm not going to pack it up over a bunch of kids that are 3, 4, and 5. I'm just not. You know, you want to come out there and join, you got to get in and out, and I'm gonna be outspoken about it. So you OGs, you other skaters, be polite. But you do have the right to say, hey, runs in here don't last over a minute. Watch your clock and be like, yo, you got to get up and roll. I'm constantly clearing bowls for other skaters who are afraid to speak up and say something all the time. And I've never once in the 3 to 4 years I've been doing this, had a problem with a parent. And typically they're like, oh, my bad. I should have been, I didn't know what was going on. You know, 9 times out of 10, it's cool. But dude, there are some rules for this. If you got a kid that's seriously wanting to skate the bowl, I'll share. But we're going to take turns, hands down, you know. And that's the only way it happens. So high frequency tribe, Hamish, you know, if you're watching this, Some parents out there, like myself, like I work hard with my kids, and the first thing I tell them is, chop, chop. You got to be fast. You got to get in and out of the bowl. You got to get your run done when there's other people waiting to skate, and especially adults, you know, because we got to show respect to our elders, right? So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Have you had a problem with this kind of situation? Have you had somebody like lash out? I'm sure there's some dads out there that don't fully understand that their little angel doesn't have all the rights in the world to own that skate park. And you've had a situation like that. So hit me in the comment section. Let me know if you had one of those nightmare situations. Let me know if you're someone who speaks up, or definitely so that the parents of the kids that are out there on the scooters and the little trikes or the remote control cars or the things that don't really belong at the skate park because it's just not at their level, so that they can see the comments of you guys that just say, man, I just throw my hands up and I leave. Day ruined, you know? Those little kids can be pulling out, going somewhere else. Otherwise, jump in the bowl together, get it done real fast, and give me an equal amount of time to hit several runs before I got to help your kids in and out of the bowl. And that's the other beef. Parents, if you want to put your kids in a bowl like that, you come up there, you help them get their bikes in and out, because I'm sick of doing it. I'll tell you what, out here on my street, I got a neighbor I can't stand. I'm the father. There's no parenting done there, and it aggravates the blank out of me. So if you got your kids out there, you help them, you teach them, because in the end, it's about keeping your children safe. And if your children are running around like that, they got 200-pound dudes on skateboards going really fast, boom, that's all it takes. A couple of those kids didn't even have helmets on. And I'd hate for something bad to happen because your little guy's not paying attention to skate park etiquette. The problem is with a lot of these kids, especially the scooter kids, they just do endless circles. So parents, watch your kids where they're going. Watch where the other adult skaters or the serious skaters are at. They're usually hitting a straight line. They're going down and back, hitting a ledge, hitting a stairway, hitting a Euro gap, and they turn around and they come back and they do the same line. It's really easy to pay attention for about 5 minutes or so. Find out what's going on out there and tell your kids, okay, so avoid that area and avoid that area. And when the situation changes, change it up. Take them to a different spot in the park. That big bowl that was behind me, the red bowl, typically empty. You can put them in there, sit your chairs along the side, pretend you're at the beach and watch the little kids in the hole going up and down and around. It's all good. All right, guys, let me know what you think. And let me know if this darn light is too bright, because I'm feeling like it is. All right, man. Later, yo. Peace.